Go ahead. Give it to me.
Wait, you've been training for the moment that Richie.
It sounds like you're trying to seduce him now.
Go on, do it.
I'm not okay with this situation.
Richie, it's a script. You have to do it.
Where's the script? Did Ash
We're
write it?
improvisers.
As you
I'm
write your
writing
lines.
a script right now. Leave me alone.
Probably a
I
better
know.
one than whatever stupid crap you guys are talking about.
Dang.
Okay.
Oh
my.
All right. That's it.
Hey everybody, welcome to the second episode of the Roleplay podcast. I am here with the usual people. Say hi everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
And
Hi.
we also have some guests that are coming with us to talk about this topic because and we can say it involves them, I guess. You guys can introduce yourselves.
Well, I'm Slade, and I'm a filmmaker for Minecraft and such. So yeah.
And I'm Ash. I'm a voice actor and writer.
Yep, and today's topic, we are going to be talking about producing role plays for other people, and we're going to kind of be talking about the drama as sorts that's been going on.
Hold on, before you move into that, just quickly, what series do you two produce? Just so people know.
Glenwood Prep.
Glenwood Prep.
What you do?
Yes,
Whoa!
Ash and Slade are responsible for Glenwood Prep. Ash is actually the writer for Glenwood Prep, and Slade records and pretty much directs and voice acts as well. Do you also voice act in it, Ash?
Yes,
Are you
I
a
do.
character? Yeah, you're a
Wow.
character as well.
Wow. Big fan.
Even I know that.
Damn.
I like to just clarify for people who maybe don't know the series.
It's okay. It just says old man memory. Okay.
Yeah, my old brain.
Wow.
But yeah, these two are pretty much responsible for the bulk of the creation of Glenwood Prep on Aviator Gaming's channel, I believe. Correct.
Yes.
And
Yes.
this series has maybe come under a little bit of fire lately.
Oh,
I think it's
yeah.
fair to say. Maybe we should. Does anybody want to kind of give sort of the timeline of some of the current events with this with this topic lately? I mean, it all
I
started.
can tell you,
with
it happened
started with a
exactly
tweet,
on my
correct?
birthday.
Yeah,
No.
it did.
Happy birthday, Slade.
Happy birthday, Slade.
Happy
It was
belated
on the
birthday.
15th.
You love drama, right?
And that night on my birthday, so I remember very well when it was.
Yeah. So who has somebody has some of these up and stuff. So
Yeah,
it
I
all
got the
started
Twitter
pretty
open.
much with a tweet. Am I correct with that?
Yes, by
Yeah.
Afmau's husband, correct? The CEO of Blue Jay Studios was not very happy that Glenwood was using their pillow design, at least in his eyes are using his pillow design, and that kind of spiraled down into a humongous storm and drama and such.
Yeah, and basically, I guess the creators, or I guess I don't know if Afmau herself has really said anything.
She has
but her
not.
husband has been pretty vocal about the fact that he thinks Glenwood Prep is a copy of a series that him and his wife do.
Yep. And now we are going to act as our Lord and Savior, Killer Keemstar.
Oh my god.
Time out. This is a negative environment. I'm leaving again.
Yep, we're gonna have to end off podcast already. Good job.
So does
Michael.
anybody have like the first tweet up that pretty much sort of
I have
started
all
this
of
whole
them.
thing?
Yep. I got him.
Look at my PJ being all professional.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
at you.
Well, thank you, PJ.
You're welcome.
Congratulations.
I
You gonna
thought
read
we
it,
might
PJ? Come on, do
So
it.
his first
Eventually.
tweet that he said was, quote, "These copyright RP series are getting ridiculous. ... Even trying to copy our merch designs. Period. Makes my damn blood boil. Period. Quotation." And that cuss counts because it's in quotes, so...
Nope. Swear jar.
counts.
$10 to the swear
No,
jar.
PG... Nope, it doesn't count.
25.
PG rating's still here, technically. What code counts. It counts. And that's what he first said. There are some people who were not on his side, but for the most part, a lot of Afmau fans kind of went on a Glenwood rage, if you will.
Yeah.
Rage?
Yeah.
Rage?
Hurricane?
I would say rage, honestly. Like, I was gonna say maybe not that intense, but yeah, it's that.
The
Kinda
hurricane
Shall we
weird.
get
Irma
this
of
side of
Twitter.
the story?
Yeah, so I think it's
I
best
mean,
to
before
get
we even get
Slades
to
and
their side of the
Ashes,
story
yeah.
and get into the drama and all that stuff, do we maybe want to go back a little bit and maybe just start to sort of talk about Glenwood Prep and its when it was created, the
Absolutely.
kind of
Origin story.
history of it,
So I
that
think,
kind of
yeah,
stuff.
I think the best place to start would be more towards Ash. How did you come up with the idea of Glenwood?
Well, I actually have been writing this story for a extremely long time in my middle school days. I'm a senior now, so it was about 5 years ago that I started the whole concept as a whole. In my middle school days, I was on a forum thread, and there was this roleplay, like, kind of story idea about these people that had become test subjects, and their DNA was fused with animal DNA. Therefore, they had a lot of animal features, like ears, tails, like have snake bodies, like eyes, all kinds of stuff. So that's kind of when it started. I wrote my own version of the story where it incorporated the whole school idea about a year or so after. That was actually called Red Leaf High, but once I got to Glenwood, I didn't care for that name anymore, so I ditched it. Also for the fact that it was a very different story when I originally created it. The main was a female. She had an incredibly not PG backstory, and I wanted to kind of take a new turn on the series. I had got a deal with a friend of mine who was going to be creating a channel for some bigger YouTubers. I won't say their names because they weren't directly involved in the situation. But when we started creating that channel, we wanted something good that could kind of be the powerhouse. So I got up my old notebook from middle school, looked through all my story ideas, and that one was the best one. So from there, we started creating Glenwood, the new turn on it that was more kid-friendly and that was more appropriate, so to speak.
Obviously, yeah, because it was now planned to be like on Minecraft channels and stuff, places with a child audience and stuff like that. And you want to,
yeah. And my internet persona, wherever I am, is generally PG, and so that's the way I try to keep anything that I'm generally involved in with the Minecraft community as well.
Fair enough.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay.
So then from there, I mean, you started to develop it more into like a Minecraft roleplay, as you said, and stuff.
Exactly. We created the characters, we made skins, we tested out tons of different mods to see which ones would work, if the idea was even possible. So we figured out it was possible, and the original deal fell through, and it was extremely devastating. We'd been working on it for at least 3 months. We'd filmed episodes. We had really grown to love this series and the characters, and for us to realize that it was never going to come out was incredibly heartbreaking, especially for me, because I hadn't even shown this idea to anyone before, and I had fallen in love with it all over again. And then that came to a different kind of topic that it would probably be better for Slade to talk about, just for the sole fact that he was offered the job that then entered the way of Glenwood being involved into it.
So Slade is also, yeah, he's kind of the connection that eventually got it onto Aviator's channel, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
yeah, basically, I've been working on a lot of role plays in the past, and including on my channel, and a lot of people know about this role play that I've worked on my channel before called Hunters of Lahara, and that got super big, and a lot of bigger content creators saw that, and they were offering me a bunch of jobs, but I kind of wanted to stick with my channel, work on my own thing. And then I just noticed that it was really difficult to record and such, and I wasn't getting enough income to get to college, because that's the whole reason why I started YouTube, to pay up for my tuition. And basically, I worked with a bunch of other content creators along the way, and then Zach Aviator, who seen my work, he was really, he loved it so much, and he wanted to hire me for the job. And basically, Glenwood Prep was kind of already a thing before he even hired me, but by the time he did, it was already like crumbling, and we had a bunch of issues with it. And so I knew that Ash was really upset because, things were kind of, crashing down. And when he wanted to hire me, I saw this as an opportunity to pitch it to him, and I told Ash about it, that Aviator wanted to start a roleplay team. So basically, when Zach hired me, we had no intention of like starting out with Glenwood Prep, and so I talked with Ash about it. She loved it. She wanted it to go out, and yeah, I pitched it to him, and he loved the idea, and we started working on it instantly. So that's how it came to life and such. Because Zach never really had a roleplay team before. He was always solo in like the roleplay department. So yeah, we had to help him out a lot in that area.
And you just saw this kind of like as an opportunity, because you and Ash have been friends for like a while now, right? You guys have
Yeah.
known
Oh
each other
yeah.
a while. I know you guys. Actually, I remember back in I know for a while you were doing you were both involved in like Favor of My Sabers Flash series and stuff like that, and other role plays together for other YouTubers and stuff. And so I mean, that actually is kind of cool that you saw it as an opportunity to get your friend's story, like out there again, for sure.
Yeah, and like to like have my skill as a Minecraft cinematographer to have my work be shown and to be noticed.
You're pretty good for people who don't know who Slade is. He did mention Hunters of Flahara, and I recommend anybody who is watching this who has not seen that series to definitely go check that out. That series is really, 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 really good.
And I also worked.
That's
with,
kind of the series where we a bunch of these guys in the podcast, Panda, Richie, and stuff. That's where we kind of found out about you too, as well, and that's when we kind of got to know you. I remember Richie saying to me like, "Yo, have you heard of this guy Slade? He does these role plays. You check out these videos." But yeah, I definitely remember when the hype was going around when you when people were digging your series. Yeah, Slade is a great role play maker.
I also filmed the Flash series with Saber, so I filmed all of that before. So I had experience prior.
Yep.
10 out of 10 cinematographer work, by the way. Beautiful.
Yeah, really, really, really cool stuff. So yeah, from there, I guess Aviator liked the idea and decided to kind of go forth with the series on his channel, correct?
Exactly. He had some ideas, but as soon as I pitched Glenwood to him, he instantly loved it. So I gave him the whole plot of the story, what it was gonna be, and then as soon as he read it, we got straight to work. We started making artwork for the series. We started getting a set. We got set up, and so
which I know you guys work really, really hard on. Like, would you tell me the other day how many episodes a week do you guys put out?
4 episodes.
Four episodes a week of a highly edited roleplay for anybody who doesn't know is insanity. So,
how long do you think you'd put into an average episode at Glenwood? How many hours?
It takes about 2 days for a single episode to be filmed and made. Maybe it takes about 3 days, but that's the max of it. And it being a drama series is a lot easier than filming wise and editing wise than a action-packed series like Hunters of Lahar, which would take me a week just to finish one episode because I didn't have enough resources or the body actors to help me out with it. So it took a while. But since Glenwood Prep is an easier series to film, it was a lot easier to put out episodes and such. So yeah.
But, I mean, regardless, if you haven't worked on a video for 2 or 3 days, you don't understand what that's like. That's a lot. That's still a lot of time.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I work full time, so it's rare when I get a break, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you guys start recording Hunters of Flahara. You start putting it out on Aviator's channel and
Glenwood Prep.
What did I say?
You said
Glenwood.
Sorry, it's
sorry.
okay.
We were just talking
It's
about
okay.
Hunters of
We're all
Flahara.
good.
Yeah, Glenwood
Good
Prep. You start
job.
putting it out on Aviator's channel. Now, comparisons to AFMAU's role plays. Now, here's something we kind of talked about before the podcast that we're going to try to. The guys who are generally in the podcast, we have our opinions on this topic, but we're going to try to stay sort of objective and let these guys, sort of tell their story, give their side of the story and stuff at first before we inject our opinions. But one opinion I am going to inject is I kind of feel like, and I think this is fair to say, AFMAU is big enough in the Minecraft roleplay community that I don't think you can put out a quality roleplay without getting compared to AFMAU. I think that's kind of fair
everyone
to say.
Yeah.
But specifically being like a school role play, were you guys getting a fair amount of feedback off the bat, like with people comparing it to FMAO and stuff like that?
For sure. Yeah, I think we did, because I remember specifically when we put out the first episode, I was looking through the comments, seeing the first reviews, all that kind of stuff, because we also have to remember that Zach's type of content when Glenwood started completely changed. It was just
so different.
Yeah, it was so different. So for that series to come out, it was almost like, is this really Zach's? It looks like AFMAO's. We got a ton of that at first.
It was really difficult because like we were Zach's channel wasn't doing so hot when we first started on it, and Zach's, you know, he had interesting content going out in the past, so you know we decided to, you know, bring his channel back to life because it was kind of dying down, and make something new, and you know have him start growing back again as a content creator and, you know, producer. So,
but even though you were getting those comparisons, at the same time, there was a lot of people who took really well to it, right? Like, you guys have obviously built a pretty substantial audience for this series.
Oh yes, the fan Discord, very, very fanatical. Amazing to see. It's actually pretty cool. It's cool to see how into it people really get.
Yeah. In the first 2 days of releasing the fan Discord publicly, we had over 2,000 members join.
Oh boy,
a lot of people.
It was insanity.
Yeah, but it was pretty fun, you know, making the announcement for that personally, because I was in charge of it, and so it was really fun. You know, watching all the fans come in and talking about Glenwood Prep and just admiring the series. You know, that's what we all strive for like as content creators, for people to enjoy our work and to be inspired by it.
Cool. Well, that kind of, I mean, that pretty much brings us up, like catches us up at least a little bit on the history of stuff, the history of the creation, and things like that. I mean, something we had sort of talked about beforehand and when we were planning this podcast that I think kind of ties a little bit to what we were just talking about. I mean, the idea of Zach hiring you guys, and pretty much Ash writes the entire series. As you said, Slade usually records it. You guys both voice characters, obviously, and Slade edits it. I think you said you do have a co-editor as well, but you...
Yeah.
I know how seriously you take editing as well.
But definitely.
But it brings up the topic of larger YouTubers hiring like teams or smaller YouTubers to produce their content for them. And I imagine, you know, kind of where you guys are at, you have opinions about this. I know everybody in the podcast kind of has their opinions on this, but so I figured maybe we throw that on the throw that topic in the ring for a second. Like, how does everybody kind of feel about that idea? The idea of larger YouTubers hiring smaller.
I feel like Brian wants to go first on this one.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't have a problem with it. I think it's fine. Because for me, I have my own roleplay team, yet I don't pay them because it's more of like a volunteering work, because it's knowledgeable that it's volunteer work, you know, and they want to, you know, be in the videos. And
oh yeah, you certainly have like enough fans that just like want to get in.
I do have a lot of dedicated fans that want to be in like a lot of my series that I do. But the person that actually wanted to bring up this topic isn't here right now, which is Pixeldip. And Pixeldip's concern about it is that he was actually pretty against it. And the reason, if I can remember what he told me, is that...
Don't mess this up, you'll forever slander his name.
Looking out for it right now, don't worry.
Low. So he just doesn't like the idea of the variety. He thinks if more YouTubers start to do the same thing that the Aviator is doing, that it's just going to be saturated to only the top tier YouTubers that are able to afford people to, you know, create all these, you know, different kind of videos that are produced through these teams. And his problem was mostly because, like, something with the algorithm would change, and I can't remember it in the top of my head, but that's basically the gist of what I understood what he told me that his
I do
concern
have
was
the
about that.
list. If you want me to read it out, I can.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So he said, for his first point, he said, smaller channels can't grow because of the oversaturated market, so you're right on that one. Bigger channel notices talent the smaller channel has and offers them a position on their own channel series of channels. In doing so, the bigger channel both expands their potential amount / quality of content and eliminates competition. This leads to the bigger channel growing even more, making the market even more oversaturated, leading to less potential for smaller channel growth. If people can get quality content in large numbers on a single channel, why look for other channels to watch anymore? That was what he had to say about it.
I would so I think summarizing basically, essentially he's afraid of people monopolizing the Minecraft roleplay market. And I guess the main concern with that being if you bring in all these people like Slade, right, who's a quality content creator, he makes very high quality role plays, and Ash writes very quality scripts and stuff.
Stories.
Yes. If you bring all these people under one flagship, then you remove that competition. So now they become the standard and the only standard. So there's never anything for them to compete with. Think like YouTube itself. Right, there's nothing for YouTube to compete with. So whenever we complain about YouTube, they don't have to care. Because they can do whatever they want. There's nothing. No competitive
there's to be
for YouTube.
arguments there. I mean, there's other
think
companies
that's a
moving
fair
in.
argument.
Amazon's trying to do some things. And
Yeah.
Twitch
Maybe
is
more than
throwing some punches.
But I think you have to look at the other side of that, because if you compare, making role plays to making films and shows in real life, that is exactly what happens. You don't. One person doesn't make a TV show or a movie. A studio do. A bunch of people. They hire people to do certain work. There's people at the top. There's the producers who, get all the people around. They pay the people with the cameras. They pay the script writers. They pay everyone to make this movie. And if you compare it to that, it should be totally fine. That's how the world works.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I can see where you're coming from.
That's my opinion on it. I think it should be treated the same, because it's the same profession.
A counter to that, though. A counter to that, though, is the pool of people who make real-life films a lot larger than the people who make Minecraft roleplays that are quality, at least. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, but it's also even
There's
something
just
you
different
see.
amounts of people. That doesn't change anything.
Well, the
Yeah,
smaller
I think
the
it kind of
pool
happens
is,
in all
the
facets of
easier it is, it
YouTube
removes-
too. I mean, even things outside of gaming, some of my favorite channels and all that stuff. Like these guys have teams. They have editors. They have writers. They have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like JonTron.
You'll see vloggers out there that pay their friends to make quality vlogs with them.
Yeah, exactly.
They live in a house together. Only one of them pays the rent, and they just pay that so they can live together and make really funny, good content. Like it's the same deal, no matter where you put it.
And the whole thing that we were talking about with the algorithm and there being no competition is, whether the fact we like it or not, YouTube's algorithms are, right now, they are only based to support bigger YouTubers and videos with the most views. Sadly, the smaller YouTuber, community, it's dying out because there's literally, we're hitting a wall here. The only way people blow up anymore is if they get on the trend extremely fast, which that's usually pumping out content that isn't quality.
Oh yeah.
Or the other way that they blow up is doing a collab with someone larger than them, referring this person, because the only people that are looking for small YouTubers anymore are big YouTubers. The kids that are watching YouTube now, they don't care about smaller YouTubers. That's just the matter of the fact, which is extremely saddening because it shows how much YouTube has changed since it started. But I think this is also a reason that Mark and I can give to why we work for Aviator. For me personally, Mark might have something a little different to say, but I've been trying to do YouTube for years now as well. But the sad thing is, I'm a student. I'm someone who, doesn't have... I don't even live in the United States. Let's just say that. I don't have access to all the resources that, let's say, Zach or Mark has. I physically cannot do anything to up my quality, really, because I don't have a job. I'm a student. I don't live in the States, so it's not like I can just go to my friend's house and use whatever they have, because I have the best of where I am. And it's still not good enough. So you have to also look at the small YouTubers like situations and why they're doing it. I mean, Mark even mentioned earlier, like he accepted this job because he needed the income. He needed to go to college and he needed to prove to his parents that he could have a job as well, which is one of the number one reasons why we took the job in the first place, because we've been trying for so long, but because of the way YouTube works, we were getting barely any support, not enough for us to live off of or to upgrade to even compete with anyone. And so it's just this constant hitting a wall, and where do you go from there?
Yeah. And I can say actually probably personally, I relate to that aspect of it as well. I'm kind of like in a weird place with this subject, because obviously the fact that larger creators hire smaller people and other people to do some of the work for them is the reason I'm employed. Like, I'm an editor for other YouTubers. I edit for Favor My Saber. But then on the flip side, I remember actually, you know, as we said, you know, Slade was the creator of Flash. He did all the editing and stuff. And when you stopped doing Flash, I actually took over the editing for that kind of stuff for that series. And I remember thinking to myself, like, you know, he has somebody else write it for him. He has somebody else record it for him. He has somebody else edit it for him. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, I don't know if I could ever do that with my own stuff. It's like,
it also comes down to the reason, like, why did the creators start YouTube? I know personally for me, I love that fact of creating. Like, that's what YouTube's all about for me, is creating. And when I put something out there and I really enjoy it, like, you can tell where my heart is based on what I'm uploading. Because I love everything that I put out. I put my whole heart into anything I record. And that's what, like, I don't know. Like, I couldn't hire a team to script, record, and someone else edit, and I just produce it. I couldn't do that.
Like me, I kind of personally, like, I am kind of conflicted because it keeps me employed, but at the same time, I feel like if you give a certain amount of it away to other people, how much of the content is really you anymore?
Yeah, it's like, how much of that content is your content?
I mean, kind of building off of what,
that.
Kind of building off. Okay, you go, Brian.
No, you go.
Okay, kind of quickly building off of what Panda was saying. For me, doing YouTube is, I enjoy entertaining people, and if I can see that I put a smile on somebody's face through the work that I did, then that is the most satisfying thing I can think of.
Exactly.
So,
Absolutely.
But when I kind of saying what, also building off what Mess said, if I give all that work away, I feel like I lose my original image. And then I feel like I may have put a smile on somebody's face, but it feels kind of a misconstrued smile. You know what I mean?
Was it really your work that put it out, that smile on their face?
Yeah.
I don't know. Something to think about. But at the same time, I do agree with people making these teams, because at the end of the day, it gives a ton of content for people to enjoy. And at the end of the day, that's what YouTube's all about. It's about the new entertainment. It's about entertaining the children. And not even just children, anybody who's out here watching YouTube. Like, there's a ton of age groups on YouTube watching this kind of content, believe it or not. It's not all just children. Like, a lot of people believe the Minecraft roleplay the community to be.
People, yeah.
And I'm sure also from, you know, Ash and Slade's perspectives, you know, I mean, they're both right here, so they could either verify or deny, but, you know, they have this story, obviously a story that's, you know, it seems to be a passion project of Ash's. She sees, you know, it seems to be a story that's pretty dear to her heart. It's something they both put a lot of work into, and they could have done it together and maybe put it out on their own channels. And as smaller YouTubers, maybe you might have gotten lucky and it would have blown up. Maybe you might have gotten a couple thousand views. Maybe you might have gotten a couple of hundred. But now, like, you know, being able to put it on a larger channel like Aviators, you're this thing that you're really proud of, you gets to reach more people.
Yeah, exactly. That's the number one reason that I pitched it.
Yeah, I also like to add, another reason why I took the job in the first place was because, like, my subs weren't, you know, really going anywhere, and I wanted my work to be out there. And plus, you know, I treat Glenwood Prep as my own RP show, you know. I treat it like it's my child, basically, you know. And as a director, you have all this power. So and when episode goes out, I know that I made it. I know that people enjoy it, and obviously people who love and watch Glenwood Prep know that I'm the director for it, that I made it. So, you know, when a lot of fans on the Discord fan Discord, they instantly know that I'm the one that directed, and I've stated plenty of times on the channel itself in announcements that I'm the director, so people know that I'm the one that films the content for it, and Ash writes it.
Yeah.
So in a way, I'm completely fine, filming this and putting it on Aviator's channel, because I know that my work is being put into something, greater, and people were enjoying it. So that's why I love it.
Another argument I think to be made too is there's something to be said for doing like a creative endeavor as a team as opposed to trying to do it on your own. I mean, I think Panda, Michael, and Richie can really attest to this. Like lately, they've been doing a lot of content just on their own, and they were even talking to me about this, like having other people to like rely on and stuff, and people to motivate you and stuff on those days where you're not really like feeling it and all that stuff. It's kind of, but it's like, it's nice to like feel like you're not at this thing alone.
Yeah,
it's cool to have like a team that's like working on this one goal.
Yeah.
It's always kind of like a cool thing.
At the same time, it's nice to be doing it with people that you are really happy to be around. Like I really enjoy working with both Panda and Mickey.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I mean,
it just made my teeth hurt.
My best friends. So I mean,
I'm gonna cry.
You can tell there's a lot of passion when we make our videos. They may not be like the most high quality things that we've ever made. They may not be super cinematic like Glenwood, or they may not have the most in-depth story like Glenwood as well, I guess.
Nice. Since we're talking about Glenwood.
But, however, we still put
I've never watched your guys' videos. Do you pretty much just like roast each other for about 20 minutes, slap some music on it, call it an episode?
Good videos where we just throw shade for about 30 minutes.
Oh my god! Edit it up, slap some music on it.
Yeah, listen music on it.
I'll watch the first episode the second we're done with this podcast, Panda. I promise.
Yeah, but
can I get that in writing?
No.
For us, at the end of the day, even if we go back and watch our own videos, we laugh at ourselves because we enjoy making that content. So,
and I'm sure. Do you guys have? I'm sure you have a really good time making Glenwood.
I do specifically.
For sure.
Yeah. When you're filming with like bigger YouTubers, for body actors, they get so scared because if they make a mistake, they feel like they're gonna go whipped or something. Because like I know, I remember like working for like Favor My Saber, and if I made one mistake, I was super afraid of like telling him because I thought I was gonna get fired or something. But when I'm the director and I'm with the body actors, they're so comfortable and we have so much fun filming it. If they make a mistake, I'm like, okay, that's fine. We all make mistakes. It's totally fine. Just do it again, and we'll try to get the perfect shot. And it's enjoyable.
Yeah,
it's what makes the job fun.
I'm sure when you guys go back after,
that's like a director's job. You got to make the performers as comfortable as they can so that they perform the best to their abilities and stuff.
Yeah, like,
exactly.
We were like filming a music video in like one of the Glenwood Prep episodes, and we had so much fun, putting up fireworks and like setting up the NPCs and making stupid jokes along the way. It was just enjoyable, and it's so much fun working on Glenwood Prep and any other RP that I worked on before. So yeah.
And something also to point out with that is without the publicity from how big the channel is, we would never be able to even have this team. That kind of brings us to the topic earlier of, is this a good or bad decision and why? Like, Mark and I have been a part of a team for almost 2 years now. It's how we met. And the team was incredibly small. We did everything ourselves. And of course it was fun, but we never even got to post a video from that team because it was so difficult doing it all on our own. We would not have this huge team of body actors. We would not have the funding to have the voice acting that we do if we didn't have it under Aviator's channel.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't know the struggle of having to gather like a few good body actors.
It's incredibly difficult.
What's your time zone? My birthday, the 24th.
I have like lists now of like, because we've used so many different body actors and stuff. I have lists of just like, don't use that guy if I can get somebody else. Like I know the most helpful body actors, because a lot of people also just kind of come in and want to act crazy and like, and fanboy for the YouTuber.
I do think we need to kind of circle back to the actual drama now.
Yeah, so I was going to say,
like it's a good idea.
Transition into what we're really here to talk about today. Obviously, we've got the history now, kind of Glenwood, your guys' involvement, how you got it on Aviator's channel. So now, fast forward to now, where
I guess we did just respond to some of the drama. To be fair,
actually,
one of the major points was that Zach doesn't even make his own content on his channel, and that was retweeted a couple of times on Jason's Twitter.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we did address that right there a little bit, but I think we should address the main concern.
Yeah, so,
I looked at a comment.
So this tweet comes out, and you guys hear about it.
Mev.
Yeah, go ahead.
Basically, when we first started Glenwood Prep, we had no intention whatsoever to, copy AFML in any way possible,
we even tried to avoid it. Mark and I stopped watching her videos for the sole fact of we don't want to make the same thing that you are.
And we wanted to come up with original ideas for the series, and there's so many differences between, Phoenix Drop High and Glenwood Prep, so many differences. And it's really lame when people just think that we're copying just because of, one, the high school setting, obviously, and because we had wolves on the series. And it's
Which
not just
I would
about
like
wolves.
to point out that this is something I said in my tweet. Jason. Whoa,
what?
Hold on.
Oh, what just happened?
I don't know.
It just popped like crazy.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. Is it coming from me?
Yes.
It's like they're watching and they don't want you to say it.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
They're hacking our stream.
I'm awake now. I'm awake. Okay.
I'm
Continue.
so sorry. Okay.
My heart. My heart.
So I'll quote his tweet. He said, "This is my problem. Glenwood Prep seems to be engineered to rival PDH, which is Phoenix Drop High, a Minecraft roleplay high school werewolf alpha. First of all, they're not werewolves. They are human. They're people. They're not werewolves. They weren't born that way. They chose to be genetically altered. The add-ons were something that came with it. They're not werewolves. Not all of them can transform into their animal. It's not magic. It's science-based. It's completely different. Also, the main character isn't even the alpha. He's the omega. He's completely bullied and cast away from his pack. Whereas in AFML series, I think Aaron started out as the omega. He ended up the alpha. It was all sorts of stuff like that. But you also have to remember that there are only so many things that you can do with a whole wolf pack drama. There are only so many ranks. There are only, it's only fair to think, okay, these students are fused with wolves. They'll have wolfish instincts for them to want to be a part of a pack. They're very pack-like animals. So I would just wanted to point that out. They're not werewolves.
I supported
humans.
that as well. I put on Twitter, kind of as a creator of a school show, the idea of a werewolf school series isn't something that's original. It's not something that AFML made. Have you never heard of Teen Wolf? That has been that's been a show that's been out there for so long.
Exactly.
Anyone could get that idea of having wolves in a school. And the way wolves work is there are alphas and omegas. There's no other way to do it. That's just how wolves work. So you doing that isn't copying her. That's just using the right way a wolf is.
Yeah.
There are alphas, there are betas, there are omegas. That's just how it works.
And my thing kind of with that entire thing is he went on this entire thing about, oh, they're copying this or copying that, and it's well, you can't really be 100% original. That is almost impossible to a certain extent. You can't be 100% original with a wolf idea or 100% original with a school idea, especially the school one, because it just isn't possible, because a bunch of ideas have already been done. You can try, but you're gonna be copying unintentionally someone after so much time,
That's something I'm actually feel very strongly about, that opinion, and agreeing with you. When I was a music major in college, and a big thing that a couple, one of my really good professors used to tell me is just it's all been done before. I don't know, anybody who knows about music, there's only 12 notes, there's only a certain amount of rhythms and combinations, it's all been done before. All you can really do is everybody's a sum of their influences. All you can do is kind of and it's all gonna filter through you in the end anyway. It's gonna come out like you. It's gonna be I don't know. I feel also that there's not really everything. we've been human beings on this planet long enough doing creative things that most things have been done, and everything's just going to be like new iterations of things, or hopefully your own take on something.
Exactly.
Yeah, and even in Glenwood Prep, like the music is super different from AFMAO's. Like hers is like, you know, playful and stuff, but like with Glenwood Prep, it's more like, you know, good guitar strumming, just so much guitar strumming.
You said you were going for like kind of like an indie
guitar
folk,
strumming.
Yeah,
right?
I based it off like a indie folk music and such, and you know, just like cool vibes, basically, which I absolutely love, and it's completely different from the music score that AFMAO uses. Whole different setting, a whole different feeling of, you know, the high school, you know, setting and the plot and such. So I tried making it super different. Also, something to
add to what Mev said, like the original person who was doing this with us the first time, Bowie, I'll actually say him because he tweeted about it. When we created this, we basically said it's an X-Men-like origin in a modern day high school setting. That's what it's like. It's we're not. If you watch the series, you realize, like, pointing out what Jason said. Yeah, their whole, like, pretty much their whole series is, like, around that and around the romance, is around the whole Wolfpack situation. Whereas ours, it's around so many other different things. It took us 2 seasons to even get to all the lore of why the school is there, why it came to be. It's not our focus. It's an element of Glenwood. It's a part of our main character's life, but it's not the focus of the story.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest point here. It's, you know, things can have similarities, but the stories are going to be completely different, and that's what sets everything apart. That's what sets every movie apart. It's a different story.
Yeah, because like every movie has been set, like, that'd be like copying any space movie to Star Wars, because they're set in space. The stories could be completely different, but if they're both in space, then they're the same thing. That's not how it works.
Like, people see similarities between Star Wars and Star Trek, but they don't say it's a copy or it's the same, because it's not.
Precisely.
They're very different. I mean, like I think I posted this on Twitter. I think regardless of whether or not 2 series have the same premise, in the sense that they have the same setting or theme or whatever, right? You guys have wolves, they have wolves. You guys have school, they have school. Like I'm not gonna lie, I have not seen any of AFMAO stuff, so I know nothing about whatever this thing they're talking about is. But regardless of whether they have that same premise, because 2 people wrote them, 2 different people, they have 2 different mindsets, 2 different belief systems. They will write it in their own manner. It's going to be unique regardless of how you write it, because it's 2 different people writing it. And I think the biggest thing, so from what I heard, just from what I hear, I may be wrong, it seems like her series is primarily focused on this guy, right? This werewolf dude who's an Omega and needs to go into an Alpha, right?
Yeah, that's one of the main elements, yeah.
Yeah, so for you guys, I think the one thing I really like about Glenwood is you really focus on all of the characters,
not just
having
one
their own
specific.
Stories. Yeah. So while Zach has his own storyline, so does Talon, so does Finn, and I forget Slade's character's name right now.
Will. Everyone literally forgets my character's name.
No, I'll never forget you, Slade. Don't worry.
At least I knew it was you. I'm gonna go.
Thanks.
But yeah, you guys have each character has its own storyline, and I think that's really nicely unique to that story.
If I was copying AFMAO, every boy would be in love with Talon. I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. Actually, our main female got rejected.
Something about that tweet that I would like to bring up, and it's something that we were kind of talking about the other night when all this started happening and stuff, and it's the risk of putting out a tweet like that when you have such a large and questionably impressionable audience. Like, Minecraft YouTubers, or YouTube audience in general, like, they really get behind their creators sometimes, and they will blindly follow a creator, even if it's, like, ridiculous. I don't know if we have this tweet saved somewhere.
Oh, God.
I remember I saw a tweet from somebody who was just like, I don't know who these Glenwood people are, but I hate them. And it's so terrible that,
I tweeted that out.
Yeah, that they would steal this idea. Like, they just without even checking
no
out
research
series.
at all. They literally admitted they had no idea what Glenwood was, what it was about,
my argument
anything
was like
that.
the person who sent out the tweet was obviously a young person. Maybe
I
didn't really think too much beforehand. They don't take that. But that's what I think the danger of putting a tweet like that out is. Like, you got to know that your audience is young and might take the things you say more seriously than they should.
I have the
exactly.
It is in the Discord if you guys want to see it.
Yeah, I can read it.
I would like to point out something about that I have prided myself upon doing this. If let me find what rule it is. In our fan Discord, we have a rule that legitimately says, if you watch AFMAO, want to make comparisons, talk about it, that's fine. But realize this is a Discord for Glenwood. We're not saying don't watch AFMAO. Her content is great. Her content deserves to be watched. Watch what you want. Love what characters you want. But if you're here for Glenwood, then be here for Glenwood. We have never, ever bashed AFMAO, but we are compared to her constantly. And it's solely the fact of the matter that it started out as a subtweet. It became like obviously adding Zach, which I think became the primary problem, is that in the end, from the whole conversation, if you look through the Twitter drama, Jason's trying to at Zach, but he got Glenwood involved because that's what Zach is putting on his channel. I don't honestly think that they have seen Glenwood enough to say, because if that was the case, they would know that, number one, they aren't werewolves. Second off, Zach isn't even the alpha. And third, it is a completely different high school. They don't wear uniforms. They don't do all this stuff. It's not even called a high school. It's called prep. It's a preparatory school.
Yeah, and they have like they have like dorm rooms and everything like that. You know, it's completely different.
It's completely different.
Which is actually an interesting point and something we haven't touched on as far as like as an aspect of all of this is that the more you look through the tweets, the more it looks like this is actually like
it's a personal
old
grudge
based
for
on
sure.
Yeah, the word I use
for
is
sure.
Oh yeah,
and
like
I think it was
you'd
pretty
ask
clear.
yourself like, why would like a 3 million subscribed YouTuber would start bothering with Glenwood Prep? Like, unless you're like trying to like see what they're
publicly
doing.
like a couple of times now. I believe more than once he's come out and said he has regrets about some of the content he used to put out. But at the same time, it's not like it was ever addressed to him at the time he put out the video that had this questionable thumbnail.
He bring it up
because that was YouTube at the time. That's what it was.
Yeah,
it was very PG-13. It was. I remember as a child, I was not allowed to even go on YouTube as a site until I was past fifth grade because it was a mature site.
Oh, yeah.
It's not now, and that's why. That's another reason he asked us, is because Mark and I create PG content. He doesn't know how to do that. That's not where he started from, but that's the direction he wants to go.
Yeah, Aviator's channel was like very interesting back then.
You could say it was PG-13 before we took over.
We're a little bit.
I remember. PG like 16.
I would say
and even to go back further, I mean, he was part of like BAM Lounge and that kind of stuff too, which wasn't, if I remember correctly, it wasn't necessarily over the top cursing or anything, but I guess it wasn't necessarily PG either all the time.
Oh no.
So I mean, that kind of makes sense. That's sort of his history and stuff like that. And as you said, that's what YouTube was back then. It is a different world now.
And this is also like something I want to point out that is completely a personal opinion. I think it's completely unfair how Jason would say, I stopped respecting you when you put my wife in this thumbnail, whatever. They literally posted about a week ago or so, because at the time I still followed them on Twitter or whatever. I didn't stop supporting them. I would have never done that unless this situation happened. They put out a tweet of a blooper of AFMAO calling Jason daddy in a blooper and posted it publicly for children to see. In that thumbnail, you can look at it and say, it looks pretty bad. But is it directly saying anything? No. It's suggesting, which is the same exact thing they do. And AFMAO's channel was not always PG either.
I mean, I think Jason literally just put out the other day, like, AFMAO put a tweet like, we don't have anywhere to sit. How about your face? Or something like that. Like, that's more suggestive than anything.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
hypocrite is the word I would love to use.
It's just kind of weird coming from them. Like, And well, I don't know about Aphmau because, you know, she hasn't really said anything. She hasn't really shed light onto this.
This is like
right?
all about her husband. We don't know if she said anything to him.
Yeah, for all we know, she could be behind the scenes. Like, could you please stop?
It probably is.
But the thing is, like, I think
it's just weird for like. It was really dumb of him to do that publicly.
Oh yeah,
like. If he had a problem with that thumbnail like years ago, why didn't he like message him then? Why did he wait all this time to put it when he has a problem with him now?
And I think it's even a huger fact when your fans are saying, "Why are you putting this in the public eye?" That is the comment that we've gotten the most in our fan Discord is, if Jason and Zach had a problem, why didn't they just talk to each other? And we're all over here sitting saying, yeah, we're saying the same exact thing. Why don't you go ask the other creator? Because we don't know.
And I can give you one response to that. The reason why they didn't do that, because he wants to ruin Aviator Gaming. He doesn't want to solve a dispute. He wants to ruin him. It's more of an attack versus a defense.
And Zach was like really professional.
Well, it didn't really work.
I really liked the way
wanted
Zach
to talk
did
to
it.
Jason.
Except for one thing.
About like the whole situation.
He apologized publicly.
And even apologized. But Jason's like, no, you did it to my wife. I don't like you anymore. You know, like some kid.
I'm pretty sure the majority
like 30,
of
right?
us. Yeah. With two kids.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the majority of us throughout the YouTube scene that do roleplay kind of supported Aviator this. I know I did. Because
we all
Jason,
did.
We all did.
Mostly everybody here. If not all of us.
we hashtag stand with Glenwood. Sorry.
Hashtag stand with Glenwood.
Hashtag Glenwood matters.
But that kind of brings up, I mean, the way we ideally think it all should be is that a lot of people in the roleplay community should support each other. I mean, something that Panda and, you know, Michael and them were kind of smitten by was the fact that, you know, in Ash's longer explanation on Twitter when you tweeted that out, you included their role play in there, like, and they were like, oh wow, you know, and the gist of your tweet is that like we don't think they steal from us, we should all support each other, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And this is something that I said in my tweet, and then I have a little extra to add to that is I put in my tweet why I create. It is great to be paid. It is great to be able to save up for things like moving out and starting my young adult life. It's amazing, but that's not why I do it. When I was doing Glenwood originally, I was going to be paid next to nothing, and I didn't care because I loved the story. I also would like to add that the way YouTube works right now, the fact that they are trying to shoot down another roleplay is completely ridiculous. Because I can guarantee you, with the way the algorithms work right now, in Glenwood Prep, one of Aphmau's videos has to be in the recommended section. It has to be. It's one. One of, if not the most viewed Minecraft roleplay series. What I don't understand is the way YouTube works. If a series falls off of that category gets less publicity. It just does. That's how it works. Categories that have more videos get more publicity because they're easier to go off of and start binge watching video after video after video on the topic that you're looking for. It's how it works. So the fact that they're trying to shoot down a series, which they are number one going to rank off of, and second off are going to grow the roleplay community again, inspire kids to start doing it, make more videos on it so their videos become more successful is just bogus.
Yeah.
I actually do have a question for you guys. When Aviator tweeted at Jason, he's like, I don't make this series, I just produce it, I pay for it. And he kind of, at first it kind of looked like he was pushing you guys under the bus. Did that bother you guys at all?
Not really, because it's the truth.
It's the truth. He just wanted to explain, you know, that he has a team that he pays for us and such, and we all work together. So he just wanted to explain
because
that.
Zach didn't say anything when they were talking about the pillow because we weren't sure if it was about us or not. We didn't want to make assumptions. It was when Zach called out the writing that if Zach didn't do that, that would have given me no leadway to defend myself. None. Because no one would have known that I even existed.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough.
I think the pillow is a good thing to talk about as well.
Let's just point out this all started because of a pillow.
Oh, yeah. It all started because of merchandise.
So maybe you guys want to shed light about like what that was all about.
Yeah, we were in a meeting with Zach, and when we're in meetings with Zach, we're always talking about scheduling and like what's coming up with Glenwood Prep, including with like merchandise. He was basically talking about the pillow, and in my mind personally, I knew about the FML pillow and such, and then I saw a picture, and I was like, yeah, there are similarities, obviously, even the same font, for God's sake, but the art style is different, and there are differences between FML's pillow and our pillow. They have like a person on it with a half a heart, and it's like 2 pillows. They're selling 2 pillows to have like a complete bundle, and then we have 1 pillow. And we just wanted to have, we wanted to put the main ship on it, for fans to get. We didn't really mean to like copy FML in any way. We just wanted to give what the fans wanted. Because people in the comments are like, oh, Zaylin needs to happen, things like that. So we're like, let's just make a Zaylin pillow and make those fans happy. And then all of a sudden, Jason just starts attacking us for it. And I think
honestly,
another
there
thing
should
have
been
been
differences
differences
with
in the pillow,
it.
though.
Yeah, I think Mark and I did not have any say in the design. That was Zach. But I would also like to say that there are only so many pieces of merchandise you can make if you're not an artist, if you're not a designer yourself.
I was just about to say, like,
yeah, there's only
is
so
not
much
a very...
you can do. And the fact that something we do at the Glenwood is we have an exclusive, different piece of merch at the beginning and end, like, of every season. Last season, it was shirts, because, I mean, obviously, shirts would be the first thing you would go to. They're shirts.
Copied everyone who's done shirts, please.
Oh,
I was just about to say, like, imagine YouTubers
exactly.
calling each other out, like, you made a shirt.
Exactly.
You are
so
yeah.
we
Nick.
have like other merchandise coming out for each season, and they're things that they haven't done yet. So I'm just over here like, okay, I'm sorry that we, didn't think that backpacks would sell well. Oh wait, you've done backpacks too. We would have run into the same problem. And that we really couldn't think of anything else that would be super exclusive, because you could say maybe, oh, well, you could have done a poster. Well, a poster might be something that we want to sell forever, so that when we go to conventions and stuff like that, it's easier to sign.
I'm awake again.
I'm sorry, I don't know how to stop it.
Somebody put the
how about
on
5
Ash's
more minutes,
mic
Mom?
again.
I keep thinking about Thomas the Train Engine.
Fidget spinners. You're gonna... Glenwood
Ash's
spinners?
mic turns into a
Dead
meme.
meat?
Glenwood socks coming soon.
No, excuse me. The fidget spinners are exclusive to Rosewood. No.
Yeah, those
Oh.
are
yeah.
Are you getting Rosewood fidget
Don't be
spinners?
copying
Oh,
that.
yeah.
And like, I want to add something real quick. We put out our series on Amazon Prime, and after that, Jason put out a tweet saying, "Hey, everyone's putting series on Amazon.
All the cool kids.
Yeah, all the cool kids are
I'm
doing
one
it.
of those
Might as
cool
well
kids.
we do it as well. Like we could have called them out for that. Be like, you can't put your series on Amazon because we put our series on first. But we didn't. So it's so hypocritical when he comes at us when we make pillows and they already have a pillow. It's so stupid.
Oh yeah.
When that happens.
I think
Keep venting. It's
the
okay.
point is that nobody owns the idea to sell any type of merch. You can't
yeah.
be the only person to sell a pillow.
Except socks. Those are claimed by Rosewood.
Sure, there's similarities in
And fidget
design,
spinners.
but it's a pillow. What more can you do to a pillow?
Yeah, exactly.
And
I don't know. I
kinda-
don't sleep on my pillow.
anybody's idea. Anybody
yeah.
can go do
And it
that.
kind of ties back to the thing before, like I said. Same thing applies like with the stories with merchandise. There's only so much merchandise you can sell without someone being all like, "Well, you copied my pillow, or you copied my fidget spinners, or whatever." Like there's only so much you can. There's only so much you can sell.
3 little
you know?
thingies, huh?
Exactly. And
Custom Rosewood R8 wrapped coming soon.
Yeah, we have custom cars.
Yeah, and like I was saying earlier, we want to have something that's exclusive and is special to that season. Like, let's say someone joined in season 2, so they wanted to get the season 2 merch to commemorate when they came into the series. Like, because we'd like to have, this is a dream of mine, I would love to have a general Glenwood store where there can be posters and pens and stuff, but that wouldn't make that stuff exclusive.
Oh no.
That's the problem. We had to think of something that would do better selling one time than it would long term.
Right.
Fair enough.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And like we have plenty other merch ideas coming out in the future. So like this is just it's so lame. how like this crap would happen because of a pillow.
Oh yeah. It all stemmed from a pillow. That's honestly the thing I think we're all agreeing with. It's like it's not even just ridiculous. It's childish, honestly. Like you're getting your I don't know the right term to use, but like you're getting all mad over pillows, over merchandise. In my opinion, shouldn't even be about that. That like if you really think Glenwood's so bad, like you should be going after like the story. You should be going after like the actual content, not the pillow, because that shows the real intentions of him. Is the real intention is nothing to do with Glenwood as a story, as a product. He's worried about his merchandise because he's worried about competition. If he sees competition, he wants it out of there for whatever reason. I don't understand why.
Which I think there's something to be said about that. I mean, I think
competition is good, though.
I would take that as a sign that you guys are doing something right. I mean, if you're
mad them, that means you guys are doing something right.
Yeah, if you've angered somebody that big on YouTube, you must be doing something right. I remember
someone said this before. Like, if you're like getting copied, if you like, some people are saying you're getting copied by Aphmau, you're doing something right. Like when it comes to your roleplay, it's like, oh, if you're getting people saying you copy an Aphmau, it's like, hey, my roleplay must be good. Apparently,
yeah.
I think that same thing sort of applies.
Not a single person here would argue that they don't make high quality, really well made roleplays on Aphmau's
as much
channel.
As like, so everybody here has been kind of giving Jason crap, as my opinion he rightfully deserves. Both series are really, really well made, in my opinion. Both of the Aviator Games and Aphmau's best stuff that's been in the Minecraft community for a long time. Honestly,
okay,
they're
PJ.
both really good.
And PJ throw everyone here under the bus.
Best thing since SAO.
Fair enough.
I mean, I'm not gonna deny that, but anyway, continue.
I was going to say a fair example when the whole entire roleplay thing started. If you guys remember, Sam Gladiator did the whole Yondare's thing. And what did everyone do? Hop on the bandwagon and do the exact same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
so,
like,
I mean...
And when it comes down to it, too, like, there's like even a point where there's a guy named Newscape Pro, and he made a roleplay about Yandere not that long ago too, and the creator of the actual game of Yandere actually commented and said it was really good. And like where that kind of comes from is like that kind of just shows that competition is good, you know.
Yeah, because it actually increases everybody's quality as well.
And you both
because
get
if
both
everybody is competing together, that's what I'm looking for. If everybody's competing, if everybody's competing, because like that's kind of the thing. Like, say for example, if you have YouTube, and we'll just say, because let's be honest, YouTube has no real competition. They can get away with whatever they want because nobody can go to a nicer and more family or usable
Vimeo
source.
is upcoming.
Vimeo,
Twitch.tv. I guess you can say Twitch, but like when it comes to YouTube, like you can't go anywhere else. It's more at what's the word I'm looking for? It's more usable by its audience.
Yeah, there's nowhere giving YouTube any competition.
Yeah.
YouTube has no need to actually fix this. Because what are the creators going to do? Are we going to move somewhere?
No, because it's not like they're giving you money.
We can't really go anywhere.
Vimeo.
And like tying back before this goes into like a completely different conversation, like going back to competition, that makes it to where everybody is producing high quality stuff because everybody's producing Yandere. Obviously, they're all competing to be the best Yandere, like say for example Newscape Pro. So that's like why I think competition is actually a good thing, and like why Glenwood and Aphmau's series, like they should be competing, is that's all like with every other roleplay, because it's going to keep the quality up at higher, so the fans are always like getting the best out of it. They're always getting the best stories and the best characters and all of that different type of things. They're always getting the best stuff because everybody's competing. Jeez, I can't even word. And so I have someone like
these guys.
All right, breathe, PJ, breathe.
Sorry,
I said to these guys the other night, I'm like, if I came up with a concept or an idea for a roleplay or YouTube, something on YouTube, whatever it is, even if it wasn't video game or Minecraft roleplay related, if I came up with something and I started putting it out and it was very successful, and then I saw somebody put out something that I thought was similar, even if it was true that they stole it from me, even if that was true, let's just say for argument's sake that was true, I wouldn't start complaining about it on Twitter. I think that's a petty thing to do. I would say in myself, you know what? Screw that. I'm just going to do it much better. Like, that would be my mind.
In people. Yeah.
Which kind of ties to what you're saying. I mean, the mentality should be like, even if somebody is stealing from you, it should just push you to make your content even
Absolutely.
that much better.
Because when you think about it, what Jason is arguing is, I don't want any competition, so I can get away with whatever I want, is what I'm pulling out of it. I mean, I know that sounds really harsh,
he's
but...
like the AFMOUS channel is like top notch.
Absolutely.
So he
doesn't
thinks
want
he has
that
like
away.
priority over everyone, which I don't know if that's his intention or not,
Maybe.
but I feel like that's me.
I mean, it feels like it, at least.
Well, let me tell you, Glenwood is definitely gonna get better. You know, especially with the cinematography and the quality and the stuff we're gonna implement into the series. It's gonna get a lot better. Even after Glenwood Prep, we're gonna come up with even more original RP ideas than ever, and if they even try to compare us to them, we're gonna brush it off because we know that we're being original with it the best way we can be. So it's just,
well, as I said earlier, I don't think you can make quality role plays without being compared to AFMOU at this point these days. So I think it's going to be inevitable, and it should almost even be taken as a compliment. Because it means you're making high quality role plays.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we have taken that as, a huge compliment in some regards. Obviously not as of recently.
It gets annoying once you get hundreds saying, "Oh, you're just like AFMOU." It gets annoying real quick.
Other ways of saying that to you.
Yeah, exactly. And I think something that just needs to be said for the record, like the stuff that is being implemented into the next season to make it better, and the stuff that's being, planned for the series after Glenwood. This stuff has all started now. It's not like we wait and say, oh, well, what did AFMOU put out that did good? Let's do that. It's like, no, we work on this for months, and we dedicate ourselves to it, and we make our ideas based off of that. And that's how we make our series. And the other thing that I still find completely odd to this day is he said Glenwood was made to rival Phoenix Drop High. Phoenix Drop High has not aired an episode since Glenwood started. There's nothing to rival with. It's not being uploaded.
To be fair, you also made that series. You made the base script like a long time ago.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like I said, I've been working on it since middle school.
These things don't just come up spontaneously. They are worked on and developed for a while, planned for a while.
Exactly.
I think a good place to finish this off then is just getting your guys' opinion on what's your opinion on other people making series that are similar? What do you think about that?
Just do what you love. If you like making RPs, do it. I don't care, because I took inspiration from a lot of things when I made my role plays. Inspiration is a big thing in creation. And if you take inspiration from Glenwood Prep, go ahead. Do it.
We'd be happy.
It makes you better at what you do. It made me better. It made me, where I am today. I'm moving out. I'm leaving the house at 20. I'm living the dream right now because I continued to do what I loved and took inspiration and made it my own. So all those role plays, you can go ahead because you're doing something that you enjoy doing. So that's my personal opinion. I don't know if Ash agrees or she has something different, but that's my personal opinion about it.
And I mean, just something to add, and I even said this in my tweet that I tweeted out, and we even talked about this before the podcast started. People have come to us and direct messages like us about series that are similar, that use a similar set, a similar universe. They have similarities. I personally have never gone after series like that, ever. There's no point in it. Like I said earlier, I'd be shooting myself in the foot as well as them if I did anything like that. There's no point. We have fans that make drawings of original characters they make to be in the Glenwood universe, and honestly, nothing makes me happier because it's finding people who are as passionate and love the series as much as I do, and I made it.
Yeah,
I feel that.
I think that's a strong note.
Yeah, that feels like a good place to end on.
Yay!
And Ash's mic only killed us twice tonight. We did it.
Have one last question before we go.
Okay, Brian does have
just one question.
It better top what Ash just said.
In your tweet, Ash, you put how you and Slade met Jess, and I think, did you meet Jason there as well?
We were going to talk to him, but they said he we saw him, we said hi, he went to eat, and obviously we were not going to follow him. He was busy eating.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. So like, what are your because these are people that you got inspiration from, back in the day. Like, how do you feel about them now?
It's heartbreaking. When I first met them, even Ash knows, because I was with her, I was super nervous because I loved their content and looked up to these people as roleplay creators. And, and I even told Jess personally that, I loved her content and I wanted to be, I had 700 subscribers at the time when I met her. And, and Ash wrote this big letter about how, it inspired her and everything like that, and it's really heartbreaking right now to see how they're reacting towards this, and I'm not gonna say anything about Jess because she hasn't said anything, but just her husband, it's terrible, and yeah, it changes your whole perception about them and who they are. So
I have a slightly different take on it than Mark does. I'll let you finish. Did you finish?
You pretty much, yeah.
When I met them, like Mark said, I gave Jess a letter that basically told her that, I've been writing stories for years and I didn't think that there was ever any platform that I could put my stories onto, other than a book, but she showed me otherwise. And I, something else that we did was not only did we make it a point to talk to Jess, which is what most fans want, we wanted to talk to the editor. We wanted to talk to their 3D modeler, their artist, Kemi Wasta. We requested to talk to them and we went to them and we said, we know what it's like to be a part of a team. You guys are so vital and people don't notice you enough, and we want you to know that the work that you do is so valued by people who know what you're doing. And they told us back, because they asked us, oh, you know what it's like working with a team? We explained our situation and they said, honestly, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to go places and you're going to do good. And the fact that they felt, I guess you could say, even threatened enough by what we've done to compete with them, good. They told me to.
Okay,
fine.
I
have one more closing statement.
Oh my God, Michael! You're wasting my fade outs. You're wasting my fade outs, man.
Hold on, don't worry. There will be hashtag Dream Team Rosewood Pillows coming up very soon.
Okay.
It's not our So, thank you everybody who has made it to this part of the podcast and listened to the whole thing. We hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much, Ash and Slade, for joining us.
Of course.
Absolutely. Yeah. It means a lot to everybody here, and more or less everybody who's watched, to get the full story, at least on what you guys have. Because I think saying this in a public venue is important,
Yeah. And I think all the guys who regularly do this podcast, we do this podcast, it's about Minecraft role plays. So, what happened to you guys was certainly something that I'd say hit home for all of us.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Easily.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you.
Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to say, for my closing statement, the last thing I want to say is, for the audience watching this, support who you want to support and don't let anyone stop you. I'm never going to tell someone a day in their life to stop watching AFMA's videos, to stop watching Richie or Panda or Mev or anyone in here, Brian. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
if that's what you want, if that's what you want to watch,
don't watch Richie. You don't want to watch Richie.
Come on,
I will, even despite the situation and that I'm, I wouldn't even say hurt or disappointed because I'm not, by what they said, watch what you want to watch. Do what you want to do because it's your life at the end of the day. You decide, and we're all creators, and it means literally our lifestyle. So awesome. Yeah, that's what I want to say.
Anybody else have any closers?
No, we don't need no more. You ended it perfectly 3 times.
I really like all of you guys, and you're all my friends.
Well, we hope you enjoyed it. Tune in next week
absolutely.
For something. I don't even think we've figured out.
We have some ideas
what we're
for
talk about next time.
Yeah, we have some ideas for it, but we need to be more specific on it. So thanks again for Ash and Slade for joining us on the podcast. We miss you, Pixeldip. You should have been on. What else do we have to put on? Check out
leave
social
a comment
medias.
down below.
If you made it this far, just comment. Panda, make up something.
Apples
pillow.
And bananas.
What you're gonna want to do? You're gonna want to
Pillow.
Hashtag
Right,
Pillow-blessed.
Right, yeah, right. Hashtag
we should probably
pillow
address the
blast.
fact that this podcast is going to be appearing on each of the different people's channels that are in the podcast, so you may want to subscribe to all of us. I don't know, maybe.
It'll be all in one playlist too
know.
on my
Links
channel.
will
I'm
be-
assuming it'll be in everybody, like people mostly in this podcast will be making podcast playlists so that you don't have to go all over the place, I suppose. But
Yeah, I'll do that.
And of course, if you have no idea what we're talking about, and you have no idea what Glenwood is, maybe go over to Aviator's channel and check out Glenwood Prep.
absolutely, good idea.
And
Love
then
having
for a
you
little bit of
recommend.
context.
100%. Yeah.
And then join the Discord and tell
Oh,
Ash
you're
and
right.
Slade how good of a job they're doing.
Yeah.
Aw.
Join their Discord, join the podcast Discord. Those will both be linked in the description. I better write that down before I forget that.
I'll yell at you if you don't.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Mev. You got me back.
I got you, bro.
Well,
And thank you guys.
Yeah.
We will see you in the next podcast. Bye.
See you guys all
Bye.
then.